Have you ever wondered what it truly takes to leave an indelible mark on someone's heart? Not just a fleeting thought or a momentary sense of longing, but a deep, soul-stirring ache that makes them miss you in ways they never thought possible. Too often we fall into the trap of thinking it's about constant presence, about being in their life every waking moment. But here's the truth. Sometimes it's in your absence that your impact is most profoundly felt. In today's journey, we're diving deep into the psychology of connection, attachment, and memory. We'll uncover the hidden triggers that make a woman start to miss you, not in a manipulative, surface-level way, but in a manner that taps into the very core of her being. These insights, infused with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, will show you how to cultivate an emotional connection so powerful that even when you're not around, your presence resonates. Let's challenge the common myths. Do you think playing hard to get is the secret? Or that disappearing entirely will spark a sense of urgency? These strategies might create fleeting curiosity, but they won't foster a deep, authentic connection. What we're exploring today is something far more enduring and transformative. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll not only understand the art of making someone miss you, but you'll also unlock the secret to becoming someone irreplaceable. Ready to embark on this transformative journey? Let's dive in. 1. She faces emotional challenges alone. Picture this. She's sitting alone after a grueling day. The world feels heavy, and the usual comfort she finds in her routine seems distant. Her thoughts begin to wander, and she starts to reflect on the times when, no matter what life threw her way, you were there. Not necessarily to fix her problems, but to provide a quiet, steadying presence. She remembers how you would listen without judgment, how you could sense her emotions without her needing to say a word. In those moments, your absence becomes a glaring reality. So why is it that our minds cling so tightly to the comfort of the past when faced with present difficulties? This is where the Stoic philosophy shines brightest. Life, as the Stoics teach us, is unpredictable and filled with challenges. What we can control, however, is our response. For her, the realization dawns that you were her calm in the storm. The way you approached life with patience, understanding, and resilience created a sanctuary she now deeply misses. Think about this. When she feels overwhelmed by life's curveballs, who will she turn to in her mind? Who provided the kind of emotional balance that made her world feel a little less chaotic? The answer, of course, is you. And it's not because you were trying to be her savior. It's because you embodied a strength and composure rooted in authenticity. She misses the man who could bring perspective, who could remind her, through your actions, not just words, that challenges are temporary, but character is enduring. Now let me ask you this. Have you been cultivating that sense of emotional stability, not only for her but for yourself? The Stoics believe that true power lies in mastering one's own emotions. By being that steady presence in your own life, you naturally extend it to others. This isn't about performing or pretending, it's about embodying the kind of resilience that others gravitate toward. Imagine her now facing a similar hardship. She's surrounded by friends, but none of them seem to understand her in the way you did. The advice they offer feels hollow, and their presence doesn't bring the same sense of security. She starts to realize that what she's truly missing isn't just companionship, it's you. It's the way you made her feel seen, understood, and supported without her ever having to ask. Let me paint you another picture. During a quiet moment, she stumbles upon an old message from you, a simple note of encouragement, a thoughtful comment that showed you really understood her struggles. And it's her harder than she expected. In your absence, the depth of your support becomes even more apparent. And that's the beauty of emotional connection. It lingers long after the moment has passed. But here's the kicker. This kind of connection isn't built overnight. It's the result of being consistently present and engaged when you were together, of listening more than you spoke, and of offering understanding without conditions. That when you live according to these principles, the emotional void you leave behind is not something anyone else can easily fill. So what's the takeaway here? If you want her to miss you in those moments of emotional turbulence, focus on becoming the kind of person who brings peace and perspective, not only to others but also to yourself. Embrace Stoicism as a guide for your own growth. When you embody emotional resilience and wisdom, you naturally become someone she longs for when the world feels overwhelming. In your absence, she will crave the grounding force that only you could provide. 2. Her daily routines are disrupted. Have you ever noticed how deeply our lives are shaped by the smallest routines? A good morning text, a shared evening walk, or even just the sound of someone's voice at the end of a long day, these simple rituals anchor us. For her, your presence likely became a thread woven into the fabric of her daily life. And now, with that thread pulled away, the entire tapestry feels incomplete. Imagine this. She wakes up and instinctively reaches for her phone. There's no message waiting to greet her. It's a small absence, but it sets the tone for the day. The rhythm that once felt seamless now carries a quiet dissonance. As she goes about her routine, it's the little things that catch her off guard. Maybe it's the empty space at the dinner table where you used to sit, or the silence during her evening run when she would usually hear your voice in her ear. Each of these moments serves as a gentle but persistent reminder of the void your absence has created. So disruption doesn't just create discomfort, it creates awareness. Awareness of how much your presence brought to her life. And here's where it gets even more powerful. The things you did weren't grand or extravagant. They were thoughtful, consistent, and above all, genuine. They showed her that she mattered, and now, in their absence, she feels the weight of what's missing. Think about it. Have you ever been in a similar situation? Have you ever found yourself longing for the familiar comfort of someone's presence simply because they became a part of your routine? If so, you know exactly how powerful this sense of disruption can be. The Stoics remind us that we often take for granted the things we experience daily, only to recognize their true value once they're gone. In her case, this disruption creates an emotional ripple effect. What was once background noise in her life now feels like a deafening silence. Let's take it one step further. Imagine her sitting down to watch a favorite show you used to share. The plot twists and turns, but instead of being drawn into the story, her mind keeps drifting back to you. She finds herself laughing at a joke and for a split second, turns to her side as if you're there. But you're not. That automatic response, that moment of forgetting and then remembering, deepens the ache. It's these disruptions in her routines that subtly but powerfully remind her of the role you played in her life. And here's the beauty of this. You didn't have to try to make this impact. By simply being authentic and present, by sharing in her daily life without pretension, you created memories and habits that now stand out in sharp relief. This isn't about manipulation. It's about showing up fully when you're there so that your absence naturally becomes felt when you're not. Now let me ask you, what routines did you share that you think she might miss? Was it the morning phone call, the late night chats, or perhaps the quiet moments you spent together in comfortable silence? Reflect on how those small rituals, often overlooked in the moment, might now be the very things that linger in her mind. If this resonates with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What's one small routine or habit you've shared with someone that left a lasting impression? Share your story below. It might just help someone else recognize the power of those everyday moments. And while you're here, if you're finding value in these insights, give this video a like. It's a simple action, but it lets me know that this content is helping you navigate your relationships with greater awareness and intention. Stick around, because the next section will explore an even deeper trigger for emotional connection. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. 3. She experiences loneliness. There's a unique weight to loneliness, isn't there? It's not just the absence of people, but the absence of a particular connection, the kind that reaches into the quietest parts of your soul. For her, loneliness doesn't simply mean being alone in a room. It's those moments when she's surrounded by others, yet something feels missing. That's when her mind drifts, seeking comfort in memories of someone who truly understood her. That someone is you. You. Picture this. She's out with friends, laughter and conversation swirling around her. On the surface, everything seems fine, but deep down there's a disconnect. She listens, she smiles, she contributes to the banter, but it all feels a little shallow. None of it quite reaches her in the way that your presence once did. You weren't just another person in the crowd. You were the one who could sit with her in silence and still make her feel seen. It's during these moments of quiet reflection, when the noise fades and the distractions slip away, that loneliness strikes most profoundly. She might be sitting alone in her room, scrolling through photos or replaying old conversations in her mind. The memories of your shared laughter, those deep, late-night talks, or even the way you could sit together without speaking a word, these memories resurface, vivid and bittersweet. She realizes that what she misses isn't just the company, but the depth of connection she had with you. The Stoics had a profound understanding of loneliness. They taught that while solitude can be a space for growth and reflection, it also highlights the value of meaningful relationships. In moments of isolation, we're often drawn to reflect on the connections that shaped us. For her, this reflection becomes a journey back to the times when you offered her a safe space, a place where she felt entirely herself. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation? Perhaps in the middle of a bustling day, a sudden wave of loneliness washed over you, pulling you back to memories of someone who once brought warmth and understanding into your life. It's a powerful experience, isn't it? That's exactly what she's feeling now. But loneliness does something more. It idealizes the past. In her solitude, she might start to focus on the highlights of your relationship, the moments of joy, connection, and understanding. The arguments and misunderstandings fade into the background, leaving behind a golden-hued memory of what once was. This process, while bittersweet, makes your absence even more poignant. Now imagine her on a quiet evening. The house feels empty, the familiar hum of your presence is gone. She wraps herself in a blanket, hoping for comfort. But it's not warmth she craves, it's the feeling of being understood, the sense of companionship that you once brought. She might even find herself replaying those small, intimate moments, the way you listened without interrupting, the way you made her laugh, even when she didn't feel like smiling, the way your silence spoke volumes. This isn't about grand gestures or dramatic confessions. It's about the subtle, everyday ways you made her feel less alone. It's about how your presence added depth and meaning to her life, even in the simplest interactions. And now, in your absence, she feels the sharp contrast. The beauty of this lies in its authenticity. You weren't trying to fill her loneliness, you were simply being yourself, offering empathy, connection, and presence. This is what sets you apart. It's not about playing games or trying to create dependency. It's about embodying the qualities that naturally make you someone she longs for when the world feels overwhelming. Loneliness is a mirror reflecting the depth of our connections. And in those moments when she's left alone with her thoughts, that mirror shows her the irreplaceable bond she had with you. It's not something she can find just anywhere, and that realization, whether she admits it or not, makes her miss you more deeply than she ever expected. 4. She observes happy couples. There's a quiet ache that comes when she sees other couples basking in each other's presence. It's not envy, exactly. It's more like a gentle reminder of something she once had or could have had with you. So these moments are often unplanned, catching her off guard. She might be walking through a park and notice a couple holding hands, their laughter blending effortlessly with the crisp air. Or perhaps she's at a cafe, watching two people share an inside joke, their eyes lighting up in perfect sync. In those fleeting moments, something stirs within her. It's as though the sight of happiness in others awakens a dormant yearning. She begins to reflect on what made your connection special. The memories of shared joy, of mutual understanding, and of unspoken ease resurface with a clarity that surprises her. The laughter you shared wasn't just laughter. It was a form of intimacy, a bond that made her feel uniquely connected to you. Why is this so powerful? Because happiness, when observed in others, acts like a mirror. It reflects back the moments of contentment and fulfillment she once experienced. And when she looks in that mirror now, she doesn't just see the other couple's joy, she sees you. She sees the way you used to look at her when she said something witty, or the way your presence could make even mundane moments feel extraordinary. Let's delve deeper into what makes this realization so impactful. Relationships aren't defined solely by grand gestures or milestone events. They're shaped in the quiet, unassuming moments, the kind of moments that often go unnoticed until they're gone. Watching happy couples reminds her of this truth. It's the small things that begin to haunt her. The way you always knew how to lift her spirits with a simple joke, how you'd instinctively reach for her hand without thinking, or how your laughter had a way of dissolving her worries, even if just for a little while. The Stoics had a term for this kind of reflection, anamnesis or recollection. They believed that by reflecting on past experiences, we could gain wisdom and appreciate life's transient nature. For her, these moments of observing other couples become a form of anamnesis. She's not just recalling the good times, she's gaining a deeper understanding of what those moments meant to her. Imagine this, she's attending a wedding, surrounded by the palpable energy of love and celebration. As she watches the couple exchange vows, a wave of nostalgia washes over her. She remembers the way you once made her feel secure, understood, and cherished. It's not that she's necessarily comparing her current situation to the newlyweds, but rather, she's reminded of the kind of connection she longs for, the kind she once shared with you. Well, these reflections aren't confined to formal events either. Even the simplest acts of togetherness, like seeing a couple grocery shopping, playfully debating over which brand of cereal to buy, can strike a chord. It's in these seemingly ordinary scenarios that she realizes how much your presence added to her life. The companionship you offered wasn't just about being there, it was about being present in a way that few others could match. But here's the most intriguing part. She might not even consciously acknowledge these feelings at first. Instead, they manifest as a lingering sense of emptiness, a quiet longing that she can't quite put into words. It's only later, when she's alone with her thoughts, that she begins to piece it together. She starts to see how deeply your presence enriched her life, and how your absence now leaves a void that even the happiness of others can't quite fill. This realization doesn't stem from a place of regret or despair. It's born out of a newfound appreciation. By observing happiness in others, she becomes more attuned to what she valued most in your relationship. And as she reflects on those moments, the longing grows. It's not just about missing the good times, it's about missing you, the unique way you made her feel seen, valued, and connected. Stoics remind us that joy, like all emotions, is fleeting and should be cherished while it lasts. For her, these moments of observation serve as a gentle nudge to appreciate the connections that truly matter. And in doing so, she begins to realize just how much she misses the connection she once had with you. 5. She realizes her mistakes. Self-reflection is a powerful and at times an unsettling process. Imagine her sitting in the quiet of her room, her thoughts wandering back to the past. At first, it's just a fleeting memory, an argument that seemed trivial, a moment where she might have been too quick to judge, or a time when she failed to appreciate the little things you did. But then slowly, these memories begin to piece together a larger picture. She starts to see things differently. She begins to realize that in the intricate dance of your relationship, she may have made missteps that pushed you away or created distance. This realization isn't sudden or dramatic. It creeps in gradually, often catching her by surprise during the most mundane moments. Perhaps she's washing the dishes and recalls a conversation where you tried to open up, but she brushed it off. Or maybe she's out with friends and hears someone recount a similar misunderstanding in their relationship, and suddenly it clicks. She begins to see her own role in the frictions that arose between you. But why is this such a significant moment? Because realization leads to longing. When she acknowledges her mistakes, she doesn't just feel regret. She starts to appreciate the things she took for granted. As she thinks about how patient you were, how you tried to bridge the gaps, and how you showed up even when it wasn't easy. And now in your absence, those efforts shine even brighter. From a Stoic perspective, this is a critical juncture. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-awareness and accountability. They teach that wisdom comes from recognizing our own shortcomings and striving to learn from them. For her, this newfound understanding isn't just about you, it's about growth. She's starting to see how her actions or inactions impacted the relationship and ultimately led to the current distance. Imagine her reflecting on a time when she dismissed your concerns or failed to meet you halfway. In the moment, it might have seemed inconsequential, but now it carries weight. She begins to replay these scenarios, not out of a sense of self-pity, but as a way to make sense of her feelings. She sees the effort you put into the relationship and how, at times, you might have fallen short in reciprocating. This realization can evoke a deep sense of longing. She misses the version of herself that existed when she was with you, the version that felt supported, seen, and understood. She starts to wonder, if she had handled things differently, would you still be by her side? Could those small moments of care and understanding have been enough to mend the cracks? Here's where the story takes a turn. This isn't just about her missing you because of what was lost. It's about her recognizing the unique dynamic you shared and the lessons it holds for her future. Stoics would argue that true growth comes from facing our past with honesty, learning from it, and using those lessons to shape our actions moving forward. For her, this process not only deepens her appreciation for you, but also propels her toward a more introspective and thoughtful approach to relationships. Now let me ask you, have you ever experienced a similar moment of realization in your own life? A time when you look back and saw how your actions or someone else's shaped the course of a relationship? These moments, while difficult, often hold the key to our most profound growth. If this resonates with you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. What's one lesson you've learned from reflecting on past relationships? Your experiences could provide valuable insight for others on their journey. And if you're finding these reflections helpful, don't forget to give this video a like. It's a small action, but it helps us continue creating content that dives deep into the complexities of relationships and personal growth. Stay tuned, because the next section will explore another powerful trigger that makes her miss you in ways she never expected. You won't want to miss it. 6. She encounters kindness from others. There's a peculiar power in the kindness of strangers. A simple gesture, a colleague bringing her coffee, a friend offering a thoughtful word, can warm her day. But unexpectedly, these small acts of generosity also stir something deeper within her. They remind her of you. Why? Because the kindness she experiences now, while appreciated, pales in comparison to the unique ways you made her feel seen and cared for. It's in these moments that she begins to reflect on the particular brand of thoughtfulness you offered. Your kindness wasn't just about convenience or politeness. It was about truly understanding her needs, often before she even voiced them. And maybe you remembered the little things, like how she took her coffee, or the songs that lifted her spirits on a tough day. Or perhaps it was your intuitive sense of when to give her space and when to hold her close. These memories don't just surface randomly. They're triggered by the contrast between the kindness she experiences now and the deeply personal care you once provided. She begins to realize that while kindness is common, connection through kindness is rare. It's not just about the acts themselves, it's about the emotional resonance behind them. Stoics spoke of virtue as the highest good, and kindness, when paired with sincerity and intention, is one of the most virtuous acts. Through their teachings, we learn that true kindness isn't about seeking recognition or reward, it's about acting in alignment with one's values. For her, the gestures you once made carry a weight that others can't easily replicate. They were rooted in genuine care, making them unforgettable. Imagine this scenario. She's having a rough day at work, and a colleague offers her a kind word of encouragement. It helps, but it also reminds her of the countless times you supported her in ways that went beyond words. Whether it was through a reassuring touch, an empathetic ear, or simply being present in her moments of vulnerability, your kindness created a safe emotional space that now feels conspicuously absent. This recognition creates a ripple effect. She starts to replay those moments in her mind, realizing just how much your actions reflected a deep understanding of who she was. And as she experiences more surface-level kindness from others, the uniqueness of your connection becomes even more apparent. It's not that she's ungrateful for these gestures, but they remind her of the emotional depth she once shared with you, a depth that can't be easily replaced. In these quiet realizations, her longing for you grows. It's not about the coffee you brought her or the thoughtful messages you sent. It's about the why behind those actions. It's the intention, the care, and the quiet strength you embody that she misses most. And as she encounters kindness in her day-to-day life, she can't help but measure it against the unique bond you shared, feeling the ache of its absence. 7. She navigates social events alone. Social events are often seen as a stage for connection, where laughter, conversation, and shared experiences take center stage. But for her, attending these events without you feels like standing in the spotlight of a memory. The room may be filled with people, but the absence of your presence changes everything. Imagine her arriving at a familiar gathering, a friend's dinner party, a wedding, or even a casual game night. These were the kinds of events you used to attend together, where your dynamic as a couple brought a unique energy. And maybe you were the one who effortlessly charmed the room, or perhaps you provided the quiet anchor that made her feel at ease in the midst of social chaos. Either way, your presence transformed these occasions into something special. Now, as she navigates these events alone, the difference is palpable. As she notices the empty space beside her where you once stood, the conversations that lacked the spark your input used to provide, and the subtle moments where she instinctively glances your way, only to remember you're not there. The event carries on, but for her, there's a constant undercurrent of absence. These realizations aren't confined to grand social gatherings. Even smaller interactions like grabbing coffee with friends or attending a family brunch can bring your absence into sharp focus. She might find herself listening to someone tell a joke and think you would have loved that, or feel a pang of nostalgia when a certain song plays, recalling how you both once sang along to it. The Stoics teach us about the importance of presence, not just physical, but emotional presence. When you were together, you brought more than just your body into the room. You brought your full attention, your unique perspective, and your ability to connect with her in a way that no one else could. Now, without you, those spaces feel a little emptier, a little quieter, and a lot less vibrant. It's not just the absence of companionship that makes her miss you, it's the absence of you. The unique way you complemented her energy, the way you made her feel understood and supported in public settings, and the shared glances that spoke volumes even in crowded rooms. These are the things that linger in her mind as she moves through social events, subtly but persistently reminding her of what's missing. And here's the irony. In these moments, she may be surrounded by people, yet feel more alone than ever. It's a loneliness that comes not from solitude, but from the absence of a specific connection. A connection she shared with you. She might even find herself longing for the quiet ride home after the event, where you both would unwind and share your thoughts about the night. Those small, intimate rituals were the glue that held the experience together, and now without them, the evening feels incomplete. As time goes on, these social experiences become a powerful mirror, reflecting the depth of the bond you once shared, where she begins to see that it wasn't just about attending events together, it was about the way you both enriched those experiences through your connection. And as she faces these gatherings without you, her longing grows not just for the moments you shared, but for the irreplaceable presence that made those moments truly meaningful. 8. She learns of your success. Your success has a way of drawing attention, doesn't it? It's magnetic, a beacon that lights up not only your own journey, but also the memories and emotions of those who once walked alongside you. For her, hearing about your recent achievements, whether through mutual friends, social media, or even a passing mention, can trigger an unexpected wave of emotion. It's not just pride or admiration, it's something deeper. It's the realization that she's no longer a part of the moments that define your progress. Imagine this. She's scrolling through her feed and suddenly sees a post about your promotion, a milestone in a personal project, or perhaps a photo of you celebrating a victory. Her first reaction might be neutral, good for him, she thinks, but as the day goes on, the significance begins to sink in. As she remembers the late-night conversations where you shared your ambitions, the moments when she saw your determination up close, and the times when she was right there beside you, celebrating the smaller wins. Now she's watching from a distance, and that distance feels sharper than ever. It's not just about your success, it's about the life you're building without her. Reed begins to reflect on the role she once played in your journey. Perhaps she was your confidante, your biggest cheerleader, or the person who helped ground you when the pressure mounted. Whatever her role, its absence now feels glaringly obvious. Why does this hit so hard? Because success is a shared experience. When someone we care about achieves something significant, it's not just their victory, it's a moment that strengthens the bond between you. For her, the realization that she's no longer part of these celebratory chapters adds an element of bittersweet longing. She's proud of you, yes, but she also misses the connection that came from being involved in your growth. Here's where Stoicism offers profound wisdom. The Stoics remind us that success, like all external achievements, is fleeting. What truly matters is the character and resilience we cultivate along the way. For her, witnessing your success serves as a reminder of the strength and determination you've always carried, qualities that she admired, perhaps even relied on, during your time together. As she might find herself reminiscing about the quieter moments, the times when your ambitions felt like a shared dream. Maybe it was the way you talked about your future with such clarity, or how you turned obstacles into opportunities with unshakable resolve. Those memories, now tinged with nostalgia, make her miss the unique role she played in your story. But there's more to it. Your success also highlights the life you're creating without her, a life that continues to grow and flourish. This realization can evoke a mix of emotions: pride in your accomplishments, a sense of loss for the shared journey that's no longer, and perhaps even a hint of regret. She might wonder, if things had been different, would she still be by your side, sharing in these milestones? This is the kind of reflection that lingers. Every new achievement you share, every milestone you reach, becomes a subtle yet powerful reminder of the person you've become, and the person she once knew so intimately. It's a reminder that while life moves forward, certain connections leave an indelible mark. Now, let's pause for a moment. Have you ever experienced this from the other side? Have you watched someone you cared about thrive and felt a complex mix of pride and longing? These moments, while deeply personal, are universal in their emotional weight. If this resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What's one success or milestone that made you reflect on the connections you've shared in the past? And if you're finding value in these insights, don't forget to like this video. Your support helps us dive deeper into the nuances of relationships and personal growth, exploring how Stoicism and self-awareness can guide us toward more meaningful connections. Stay with us, because the next section will explore another profound way she realized your absence. It's about those small but powerful moments of comparison that make her long for what was uniquely yours. You won't want to miss it. 9. She measures others against you. Comparison is an inevitable part of human nature, especially when it comes to relationships. As she navigates her life, meeting new people and forming new connections, she may begin to notice something peculiar. No one quite measures up to the standard you set. It's not that she's actively searching for your exact replica, but in the quiet moments of interaction, she finds herself comparing the way others treat her, listen to her, or understand her to the way you did. Perhaps she's on a date with someone new. On the surface, he checks all the boxes: charming, attentive, well-spoken. Yet, as the evening unfolds, she can't help but notice the differences. His jokes don't quite land the same way yours did. His perspective on her favorite topics feels shallow compared to the depth you used to bring. He's trying, but there's a spark missing, a level of understanding that only you seem to possess. It's in these moments that she begins to realize just how unique your connection was. Stoics remind us that every individual possesses their own virtues, and no two people are alike. Yet certain combinations of qualities create bonds that feel irreplaceable. For her, those irreplaceable qualities are tied to you. But she might not have fully recognized it when you were together, But now in your absence, the comparison becomes clear. This isn't about putting you on a pedestal. It's about acknowledging the specific dynamic you shared, one that was built on mutual understanding, shared values, and a rhythm that felt natural and effortless. Even the quirks that once annoyed her now seem endearing in retrospect. The way you knew exactly how to make her laugh during tense moments, or how you could predict her thoughts before she voiced them. These are the nuances she now finds lacking in others. Imagine her having a conversation with a friend about relationships. As her friend gushes about her new partner's wonderful qualities, she nods and smiles. But inwardly she reflects on how those qualities, while admirable, don't quite capture the fullness of what she experienced with you. It's not that she's unable to appreciate others for who they are. It's that her mind keeps returning to the unique way you complemented her life. These comparisons happen subtly, often without her even realizing it. Yet, they build over time, creating a narrative in her mind that highlights what made you special. When she begins to understand that certain aspects of your relationship, your patience, your insight, your ability to bring calm during chaos, were not as common as she might have believed. And so as she continues to meet new people, each interaction serves as a quiet reminder of what she's missing. It's not just about finding someone who treats her well. It's about finding someone who connects with her on that same deep, intrinsic level. And the truth is, those kinds of connections are rare. This realization deepens her sense of longing, not just for a companion, but for you specifically, the person who set the standard she now finds herself measuring others against. 10. She feels invisible without your attention. Attention is one of the most powerful forms of connection. It's not just about being physically present, but about truly seeing and understanding someone on a deeper level. When you were in her life, your attention made her feel valued, understood, and most importantly, seen. But now in your absence, there's a void, a sense of invisibility that she can't quite shake. Think about the small ways you used to show her attention. You noticed the subtle changes in her mood before she even said a word. You remembered the little details she mentioned in passing, whether it was her favorite childhood memory or her go-to comfort food after a stressful day. Your attentiveness wasn't performative, it was genuine, rooted in a desire to truly know her. And that kind of attention is rare. Now without you, she begins to feel the difference. Perhaps she shares a personal victory with a friend or a colleague, and while they offer polite congratulations, it doesn't carry the same weight. She misses the way you celebrated her wins, no matter how small, making her feel like her successes were your successes too. Or maybe she's having a rough day and realizes there's no one there who intuitively picks up on her struggles like you once did. The Stoics emphasize the importance of presence, of being fully engaged in the moment and with the people around you. Your ability to embody this principle made her feel deeply connected. You weren't just there, you were with her mentally and emotionally. And now, as she navigates her days without that level of engagement, she feels a growing sense of invisibility. This sensation can manifest in various ways. At work, she might feel like just another face in the crowd, her contributions going unnoticed. Among friends, she might feel like her deeper emotions are glossed over in favor of lighthearted banter. But even in moments of solitude, she feels the absence of someone who truly saw her for who she was, flaws, dreams, and all. What's striking about this is that she may not have fully appreciated your attentiveness while she had it. It's only now, when faced with a world that feels more surface level, that she recognizes its profound impact. She starts to long for the emotional safety and validation that came from your genuine interest in her life. These feelings of invisibility aren't just about craving attention, they're about craving connection. As she misses the way your attention made her feel like the most important person in the room, even in the midst of life's chaos. It's a rare and precious gift, and its absence is deeply felt. Over time, this longing grows stronger. She begins to seek out that sense of being truly seen in other areas of her life, but no one quite fills the gap. The connection you shared, built on genuine attention and understanding, becomes a cherished memory, one that she finds herself returning to more and more as she navigates a world that often feels too preoccupied to truly see her. As we've journeyed through these reflections, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the way you showed up in her life, authentically, thoughtfully, and with presence, left a lasting impression. And whether it's the emotional support you provided, the routines you shared, or the unique way you made her feel seen, your absence creates a ripple effect that's deeply felt. Each of these moments we've explored, from her facing life challenges alone to observing happiness in others, builds a picture of a connection that was rare and profound. The beauty of this realization is that it's not rooted in manipulation or superficial tactics. Instead, it's about embodying virtues that the Stoics held dear: presence, self-mastery, and a genuine commitment to living with integrity. These are the qualities that make you not just memorable but irreplaceable. And now she feels that absence in ways both big and small. She misses not just your company but the essence of who you are and the impact you had on her life. This kind of longing isn't fleeting, it's the kind that lingers, gently nudging her to reflect on what made your connection so unique. If you've resonated with this journey and found these insights valuable, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. What are the moments that left an indelible mark on your relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else on their path to deeper, more meaningful connections. And if you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing to stay connected. Together we'll continue exploring the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can transform not only our relationships but also our inner lives. Thank you for being here, and may you continue to grow into the person who leaves a lasting, meaningful impact wherever you go.